So we've got this pretty new. I don't know how many miles it's got on it. Not very much. He just got this not too long ago. We had already done PPF on this thing. And when he was picking it up, I was like, yo, the next thing that might need to get done is gonna be the rocker panels, because the rocker panels on these cars get beat up quite a bit. And sure enough, like a month later, he hit me up. He's like, look, I got a bunch of rock chips right here. We need to get them fixed, and then we're gonna put PPF over it. Sweet. So if you zoom in right here, get really, really close. Make sure you can see that on camera. There's a bunch of these little white specks in here. All this is beat up. There's a little, looks like it got hit with a shotgun. That shotgun blast. It's like that on both sides. It's also like that in kind of in these areas here. Not as bad on the back side here, but definitely in the front right here. You can see.
Oh yeah.
Come into there.
Show it.
So we've already washed the car. So you can come around inside of here and look kind of like right in there.
You know?
Yeah, it's really, really beat up. So what we're gonna do, we have our template for the PPF right here. This one is for this side, so you can see the cutouts and everything that are around it. They do wrap into the front there, pretty nice. So, yeah. Just looking at it all. Yep, so we're gonna get this touch-up paint done on it so that we can cover this up with some PPF. And so when you have, we've already done a video on kind of like quick touch-up, you know, you have a couple of those deeper rock chips or you're seeing metal and you just kind of want to cover that up. This one here, these won't rust. This is not something that we're just trying to like just randomly cover up and so it doesn't corrode anymore. This, we're actually trying to make it look really good. Now, when you have these really, really, really shallow rock chips inside of here that look like they're shotgun blasts, the thick touch-up paint that you would normally use from the manufacturer or like, you know, scratcheshappen.com or, you know, any kind of like eBay kits or whatever, Amazon kits, that paint is going to be too thick to sit in all of these really nice. And if you were to touch it up, you would grab, you know, a syringe or whatever and, you know, start to do little dots in all of these. Well, there's probably 200 rock chips on each side here, just in this kind of small area. So the touch-up paint that works best for that is gonna be Dr. Color Chip Squirt and Squeegee, I think that's what they call it. And the kit's right over here. So let's kind of open this up and kind of see what we've got in here. Okay. So this is a pretty big kit. This one's got a lot of different stuff in here. It's a blending cloth. Got the actual touch-up paint, some gloves. Whoop. There's some more stuff kind of in here. So these are pipettes. These are to suck touch-up paint out and then apply it on there. That works pretty well for this specific job that we're gonna do. There's like a mini squeegee inside of here. There's also a kit that comes with a large squeegee. Oh, it's right here actually. So there's this big large squeegee that's gonna come in this as well. And then there's the blending solution. So step by step, you know, clean it with some isopropyl alcohol and water, just to remove any kind of like dirt or corrosion, things like that after it's been washed. Of course, we've washed it, we've clay barred it, we've actually lightly polished it too, just a light polish over everything, make sure it's all cleaned up. But I'll use still like some alcohol and water, kind of make sure I get the polish residue out of the little rock chips here. Then you would get your little pipettes or a little squeegee or some of the bigger squeegees, or even a brush here, and you would apply it in the general area, and then you'd grab that squeegee and squeegee it across all the rock chips. And that squeegee being flat and the rock chips being indented a little bit, it's just gonna fill that area with paint. Now I'll show you kind of some tips to do this properly along the way, because if I just gave you the kit, you probably mess up a couple times until you really figure it out. So I'll just kind of show you guys what I've learned along the way. Are you looking at the time because you got to go here pretty soon? You got 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes.
I got text.
I'm just messing around. All right, so let's check it out. You want to get me a gray towel and alcohol and water, and then we'll get this going here. I'm gonna bring this kind of this side of the car. We've got the car up on the lift, which is really nice. You don't always get that, but the lift is clear, and we're gonna be doing some work, so it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Gray towel, alcohol and water. There you go. Thank you. So I'm just gonna kind of wipe this down here a bit.
Inside order.
This is just a mixture of isopropyl alcohol and some water. 25%, 70% isopropyl alcohol in a 32 fluid ounce bottle with the rest of it distilled water. So it doesn't leave behind any streaks or anything like that. Make sure it's really clean. Perfect. I'll leave this towel off to the side. Got the touch-up paint itself. It does have kind of a piece of metal. I don't know what's in it, but you shake it up a bit. With metallic flake, you should probably shake this up for a minute or so. There are also instructions here, so let me see if I'm missing anything. Clean panel, prep paint, rubbing alcohol, soft cloth. Once clean, shake bottle, paint vigorously to ensure a blended mix. If pigments settle to the bottom of the bottle, use a paintbrush to stir or a stir stick to break up mixture. It doesn't look too crazy. It looks pretty well mixed up here. Step 1, paint application. Work in 6-inch square sections to make sure you have the proper color match. Amount of paint and Silact, which is the other step here. I don't know if I finished talking about the steps. Silact to finish your product. Paint can be applied using either included extra brush, squeegee, spine the next chip. Okay, across the strip. Okay, so the biggest thing is time that I always kind of get confused with is 5 to 10 minutes is the amount of time that it needs to dry. So we'll squeegee all the paint into the areas. Where we're gonna end is kind of important. We don't want to end with too much paint on like just a straight line because that just takes so long to level out. But after 5 to 10 minutes, this paint will be pretty well dry to where we can grab this blending cloth here and add some of the Silact, which this is obviously it needs to be shaken up. But this Silact here is gonna be a blending agent. It's gonna start removing small layers of the paint. And you're gonna get it down to the point where you don't remove the paint where you need it to be, but you remove it out of where you don't want it to be. So that's what this is right here. So we'll just go through and we'll shake this up some more. We'll be pretty good. I like to have actually a paper towel around, a couple of paper towels. Excuse me, just to make sure if we have any excess paint kind of doing things that we don't want it to do, we can just wipe it up. All right, let's walk up in here. So I'm gonna split these up. I have a few of them laying around. All right, so I'm just gonna grab this big clear squeegee. This one works pretty well. Make sure it doesn't have anything weird on it. Use some of this alcohol water mix here and just kind of wipe this squeegee down. Felt kind of like greasy. Okay. So let's hop on down here. Gonna open this up. Just gonna make sure there isn't like a seal or anything in here. There is not. All right. So I'm gonna put, well, you can do this a couple different ways. I'll show you kind of like the way that I like to do it, and then the ways, I'll show you some other ways you can do it too. But I like to just put some paint directly on here. And then, you know, I have most of them are kind of like in this general area. So what I'll do is I'll kind of put the paint up there, and then I'll just kind of work through some of these. And the quicker you are with this, the better, because the paint will start to dry and get all gummy and start to do weird stuff. So this works pretty well. Like that. Grab some more of that. Grab a little bit more. So doing it this method kind of gives me a good mix of speed and thinness that I kind of like. And I'm just looking for anything that's really white that's going to be sticking out anymore. Let's get a couple more kind of up here. I can just go over kind of everything one last time. Got a couple kind of a little bit higher here. That looks pretty good. Got a couple of little ones here. So for these ones, I might actually just grab the brush and pop this guy open, because I only really need kind of in these like smaller ones right here. Can just kind of start putting just like a little bit of touch-up paint kind of in that area.
Yep. So,
And just finish it off. Same thing with right here. Got kind of a little guy right there. Squeegee that. Since these ones are just like isolated, that's why I'm just kind of working these guys all alone. And again, you can use this same method for like the rest of the ones that are up there. It makes a little bit less of a mess, but when you're charging the customer by the hour, you got to kind of find ways to be efficient with a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to put like a big bit right there and then just kind of squeegee them in. That works pretty well when you have a bunch of them kind of in a row here. There are quite a bit kind of just right in front of this right behind this front wheel area. You can see them, I mean, they're pretty much going away, right? It looks pretty cool when you're doing it. let's just kind of start up here and bring some of this back here. Looks good. And then we can do this kind of general area. This one doesn't have to be, because these are actually like, these are pretty chewed up. I'm not looking to make this perfect down in here, but we can get it looking pretty good. Biggest thing is I just don't want too much of this to be like on the plastics here. What I do is just gonna get a little bit of paint fell down. Get that kind of right there. Bring that all across. Yeah, that looks really good. Same thing with right here. I do this whole line here. Bring this all down. And you'll feel it like you'll know when you have a lot of paint on there, it starts to glide really easily, and then when the paint's starting to dry, which happens really quickly, you'll start to see it, you'll start to feel it tack up. It'll be like basically the rubber against just kind of tacky paint. So it's not very gentle here. Doesn't feel smooth. Yeah, just want to get this kind of as best as we can here. I'm noticing a couple here. That looks good. A little bit kind of there. That's good. Man, this thing is beat up. I might actually just do what I just did across this whole bottom one. That kind of front area here. I might just do that across a lot of this stuff. This looks like about where I ended. So I'm gonna bring it a nice thick line across there. But I won't make as much of a mess as I did up there if I just do it this way. And kind of keep everything isolated to this smaller area, because it's just like where the angle comes down here a bit, that it's really, there's a lot going on here. The more I look at it, the more I see them. Okay. Like that. Clipping more right there. Some like lint down here. I think I'm just gonna go across all these. It's like, there's a few, you know, and while we're here, might as well. They're not super noticeable, but might as well. That Camaro that's right down there, it's getting the same thing. And that one is, I mean, that car's, what year is that car? 2013? And he tracks it. I think he's gonna have crazy amounts of this getting done. This one's not too bad. The first time I ever used this kit was on a 964 Porsche 911. It's like a 1994. It's actually the one that's next door. Man, I was just blown away. I would have spent 10 hours touching up all those little baby rock chips, but you know, he spent a couple of hours getting this done and ended up looking awesome. So round one, that's good. When you start doing the seal act, sometimes you might have some stuff that comes up. Cool, just do it again. I fully expect us to do this, you know, one on the big parts of it all, you know, kind of dialing it in, getting everything cleaned up. You might have to do it one more time, and then maybe one more time after that. But we're gonna let this chill for another probably 5-6 minutes, And we'll start kind of blending, using the blending solution right up in that area right here. I like to just do like one side of this. Like that. It's perfect. So, you just rub this over the whole surface. And then it'll start kind of like breaking it down. And you'll start to feel it. It'll go from like rough to smooth. And then you'll just have to look it over and make sure there's no like lines for the squeegee. This area is going to be a lot harder to do than the rest of it because we went pretty thick here. There were some deeper ones. And like a lot more in this general area. So now that I have the shellac over everything, kind of like just kind of working on this general area here. But now that I have it over everything, I can kind of start isolating some areas. So you can see it's definitely removing the paint. But now I'm just going to work on this bottom section here. I'm watching some parts of it. You can see it getting smoother and smoother with every kind of movement of this. Now I'm working up a little bit higher. And you can see, wow, I know you just saw that, but yeah, you can see, now that I had it soaking for a little bit, some of the thicker ones, they're definitely gonna start kind of chunking off a lot easier. I'm looking at it now at a little bit different of an angle because I'm just looking for anything that looks like it's not flat. Just a little tiny bit right there. It all looks pretty flat. So now what I can do is I'm going to lightly use this microfiber because this shellac is all pretty much on the surface right here. It is a sealant and the leveling solution. So you just want to go over it lightly first because the shellac is still active and this microfiber is slightly more aggressive than that pad. And what you'll find is that if you go after it really, really hard, you will pull paint out of it a lot easier.
So you just want to go over it really lightly?
Yeah, really lightly. And then just let it dry, let it cure. But you can see all of the rock chips now have touch-up paint in there. Now they're not super shiny right now. Let it kind of dry out a little bit, you'll definitely notice, but you're not seeing that same white. Now, if I wet this with just water, straight water, you'd be able to see what it looks like with PPF. So when we put PPF on here, even if these were just still matte, I mean, they would be completely gloss and it would look awesome.
So the PPF's kind of hiding.
The PPF, now that these are filled in and now there's just, they're gonna get a little shinier here in just a minute, but now that there's a difference in matte versus, some of this stuff is matte, some of it is gloss. When you put the PPF on there and now you made everything gloss, it hides it a lot more. But it's leveled now and you don't feel like that the imperfections in the surface like it was before. So that's why we used it really, really thick there. Pretty much, I don't see anything here that I would have to go over again. Maybe a little tiny bit right there. Yeah, maybe a little guy right there. There's definitely one right up here. I didn't really focus on this area here. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this stuff on video first. But, now we can just kind of keep going over this little area with the shellac. And since I have this kind of gunked up with a lot of paint, that's fine. I'm just going to flip this over and to the next side. And it might still look like it has a lot of paint on there, but the paint's really mostly on the other side. There's just residual shellac on here. So pop this guy open. And I'm gonna do the same thing that I did on the other side, or sorry, back there a little bit further. But I'm just gonna kind of go over everything with this shellac and start to letting it work. And I'm looking for the same thing. If you come a little bit closer, you can show people what I'm actually looking at. You see right here, you can see like those lines that are right there. Can you see them, Christian? There's like lines. Like if I swipe this, you can see like lines.
Oh yeah.
Not the lines of like the stroking here, but it looks like it's got like a smudge of paint on it. Do you see that? It's kind of like poked up and then it comes across.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that. And I'm looking to make sure that it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which it is. But as it's getting smaller and smaller, I wait till I don't see it anymore, and then I don't rub it anymore once I don't see it anymore. Because it looks, yeah, because you'll just take out way more than you need to. But no, this looks like, I mean, there isn't much here. But that, you can feel it, you can hear it, and then you can see it. So where we use a little bit less paint, I'm going more off of a visual and a little bit more on feel. And you can definitely hear it, but it goes away a lot sooner, the noise, than it does up there because we don't have it as thick down here. But yeah, I'm just kind of running through all this. And these ones are pretty light work. I mean, there's not going to be much left behind. Once I just go over it a few times like this. Yeah, that one went away really quick. Same stuff. Again, really light. And I just saw a little bit up here. I know I didn't have too much paint up there. That's just more of a smudge of like the excess paint. And since this has seal act on there and there was kind of seal act around, I can just go a little bit over it a few times and that kind of smudge goes away as well. So I don't have to go and grab the seal act towel again since this has enough like residual left behind. This looks clean, looks good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
better.
looks way better.
Yeah.
You'll see, once we put PPF on it, it'd be like nothing even happened. We had a C8 Corvette, similar color, and man, like, it was beat up really bad down in these areas that they always are. And we put that on there and put PPF on it, and you couldn't even tell. PPF really doesn't hide stuff that's deep, because then you get the air underneath it. But with small stuff like this, the depth isn't as thick as the adhesive layer. So even it'll fill in some of that smaller stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you get things that are thicker, the depth of the rock chip is deeper than the thickness of the PPF's adhesive. That's when you start getting those air gaps and stuff in there that it looks bad. Like that Lincoln that we just did. I mean, now we're putting a Band-Aid on it because she's just gonna go cruise down all summer and different road trips and things like that. And I told her, I was like, look, you already have touch-up paint on there. You're gonna really notice the touch-up paint underneath there, but it's a Band-Aid to help stop kind of rock chips and stuff from happening. So setting expectations in that way with her. But we'll just kind of hit up that front area here real quick. I just got a residual in here because this one doesn't need to be super, super flat. It already has a lot of texture from it being so beat up. I'm just gonna put some of that on there. I'm just looking to make sure that there's not like a run of paint. But yeah, it's okay. It looks good. Yeah. A little tiny bit right there I'll get. No, looks good. This side's done. I mean, other than a couple little things here I'll have you guys touch up. But it looks good. And then we'll get a video of it maybe after with the PPF on it. And you can really see what it looks like after that. But yeah, you guys are good to go.